Welcome back to another video. This week, I'm super excited. We're gonna go over the recently released Fallout 76 show, and like every week, I'm here with Jam. What's up, Jam?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, and
Excited about this one. Did you? So I know this is one of the few shows that you were actually able to watch on release with everybody else. Because
yeah, because it all released at once. So I have finished it. Not even gonna lie to you, bro. I
yeah,
finished it right before we got on.
yeah. I mean that's one of the things I definitely want to get into at some point is the whole anytime a show like this that comes out all at once and is a good show, I I always ask myself the same question, and that's like, would this have been a better experience week by week? And I mean, there's arguments for, there's arguments against. Obviously, Netflix has been doing this for some time. They're the ones who started this,
Yeah.
and then you started to see that kind of being a trend on streaming, and then all of a sudden people started all these other streaming services just started going back to the classic way of doing things. I have my opinions, but I mean we'll get into that. How was so you said you just finished it. You just
Just
finished it
finished it.
before we started.
Just finished it, bro. And you know what? I think what we're gonna do this is we're gonna review the show a little bit based on a couple things. I want to say like sort of presentation to the show, the feeling it gives you. Based on the video game. Have you played any of the Fallout's?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
started out with I actually started out with Fallout 4.
Oh, okay.
And then I played New Vegas after that.
Okay. So
So
then,
but I didn't, I was late. I started off late on it. And to be honest, I'm not a big, what would you even call that style of game? That's like a where it's like open world, but then you have there's a storyline that you're following, but there's also a lot of side quests and things that's going on the and funny enough that they actually joke about that in the show. But
yeah, I'd say it's like a action adventure, uh, RPG. Well, not RPG, but sort of an action adventure game.
yeah, it has
I
some of
mean,
those elements in it.
it has a lot of RPG sort of features. I mean, like in the role playing game, you have some stats where like you increase your strength and all that. And so I think it would fall somewhere in that,
Mm.
or maybe like an a Western RPG.
Yeah,
Sort of.
yeah.
So I mean,
I was drawn to it when the game came out. And I started playing it. I'd seen it, and it's just that style of game. I was always more of a casual gamer, especially back then. And I think I just like the aesthetic of it all. The whole. I love when they mix like old and new, and then it's like they have that classic, the music. And I'm an oldie type of guy
oh
when it comes to
yeah,
music, so
yeah.
I love that whole vibe that it brought with it. And then in the post-apocalyptic world, it just that is a good mix for me. And I mean, that game was one of those games that I mean, as soon as I started playing it, I couldn't put it down. So it warrants we're not surprised here that they came out with the show for a
Yeah,
game like
yeah.
that
So
that
you like
just had that kind of following that it had.
I started at 3. I did uh I didn't do 4, and then I jumped into 76, and then I did dabble in 1 and 2. I really don't like that style of like top down game, so I didn't really
Mm.
last, but um like you mentioned the like part of the aesthetic, which was like the music, and another part being like the time frame, so like the 50s ish,
Yeah,
which
it's almost like time
is
froze in the '50s type of deal, where
yeah, because I
it's hundreds of years later, but it's not at the same time.
yeah, like, well, I mean, so a little bit about the game, like it looks like it is like the US. It's America, they even call it America. So I mean, it think it was between 1945 and 1961 is sort of where the split off from our reality happened, and then they started going into like the direction where they had, where they weren't, we had like the 70s and the 80s, which is like where modernization really started, and I guess for them that modernization stopped. Um
Right.
and so like, do you think the show carried on the aesthetic of the game, like the it portrayed it like it is portrayed in the game.
I think I thought it did a pretty good job just in general of honoring the game and little Easter eggs and things like that. I think
Oh yeah,
fans of the game were probably excited for this. Watched it, pretty much thinks it's great and binge right through it. It took me like a few days, so it didn't take me much
yeah.
to go through the whole
I think
thing.
it's about. I don't think it's even 8 hours. It's 8 episodes, but I don't even think it's 8 hours of show. I think it's somewhere around like 6.5 ish.
I mean, it goes by quick. I mean, when you're really into it, it goes by quick. And that's another thing. That's another going back to the whole binge versus week by week episode type of structure. But as far as the game goes, and having played the game and then watching the show now, I think they did a really good job with the first episode in particular, and kind of setting the tone, and it let kind of put you at ease as a fan of the game, and it's like, oh no, we got you. You know what I mean? It's
Oh,
like we got the memo, and just enjoy. And for me, that first episode kind of like it pops out at you. There's some other episodes that I really like too, but I'm not the most diehard Fallout fan. But for me, it nailed it. You know what I mean? The vibe and the aesthetic, and the intrigue that the game creates in you as you're going through it, and you actually don't mind reading all the lore and getting into, like, you're going through computers and data and all this stuff, and
yeah.
they kind of get a little bit of that tone in throughout the show. And so
The,
uh
the
you're just as
technology.
interested. Yeah, you're interested in like what the heck happened. And it's like most other games where it's like time has gone by and we're slowly figuring out through discovery of the things that you come across, what exactly happened. And it's kind of similar to the show. The show kind of did the same
Yeah.
thing. I do know people that were diehards and also love the show. So for me, I thought they did a great job.
Me too, dude. Like we have a friend, Chrome, goes by Chrome. He was able to watch the whole show before I did,
Mm.
but it was actually him who was like, look, I was gonna wait a little bit, but he's like, no, dude. He's like, watch it because you're gonna see something on the internet, and it's it's just gonna ruin it for you. I would say I agree with you 100%. The music, the aesthetic, it was all there. It very much felt like the game. Um, you know, and like you said, you're in the wasteland. The references they made to like side quests that you're asked to do, like in the game. So it really harkens back to that feeling that you sort of get with the game. Um, but like even the presentation of and this was in the trailers. So I'm not gonna count it as a spoiler because it's in the trailers. The brotherhood and stuff. So you see this and you're like, okay, it really does make you feel like you're there. And
Yeah.
to be honest, like you said, I think it was a great idea for it to be a show instead of a movie. Because a game with like this much lore, you can't put that into a 2 hour movie. The first episode is an hour, and it really does a great job just setting up, what the wasteland really is.
Yeah, and I mean, when you now that you mentioned that, uh, the whole. I mean, obviously, video games do not have a good track record when you're talking about live action adaptations,
Mm.
and probably next to maybe The Last of Us. And I don't even know if I would compare it to The Last of Us. If you told me you preferred this over The Last of Us, I mean, I wouldn't hold it against you. There's no argument here. I mean, I think it just comes down to a preference, and The Last of Us obviously has a lot more drama
Yeah.
involved in the storyline. This is more, there's a lot of fun involved, a lot more action involved,
Right.
and they both executed very well. Uncharted, I think about Uncharted. You would think that maybe that'll be a good move. Then it's kind of hard to execute that, and
Yeah.
still give, like have those Easter eggs for the actual fans of the game in the live action adaptation, where this kind of lends itself real well. And you learn a lot through the characters that you come across. The character learns a lot, and through her, and some of the other characters, you learn a lot through their experiences, right? About what's going on, and getting more of the story through the characters, which is exactly how the game is.
Yeah.
You know, you come across sight like little people. Anyone that you come across has something to say to you, and you're learning little things here and there. You know, I was a fan of the casting. You know,
Oh, dude,
the
it
aesthetic of
was
it.
there was so many. I'm not gonna say names. I have the IMDb up, and I think it's better not to say names, but like
The cameos, right?
the cameos are
Some of
awesome.
the cameos are more like, you know, you don't want to spoil that, you know, just you
Yeah.
just want to enjoy, let people enjoy those. But
Yeah.
like the main cast, you know, I think her name is it Ella Purnell or Elliot
Ella
Purnell?
Purnell, yep. She could have
But
easily been Wednesday.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, or even you know,
sh-
she strikes me as like Winona Ryder's character in Beetlejuice or something
oh
like you know what I
yeah,
mean? She has that kind of like, you know, she's got that like that pale skin that you typically see from, you know, someone from these UK actors, man. They come in, they're taking all our jobs.
I'm gonna say this. It is a gory show, so people should know that it is gonna be a gory show, and
And if
it's
you played the game,
yeah, you'll know, but
that's music to your ears. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
and it really does look like in the game, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I played Fallout 76 a little while ago, and I was like, oh, fucking, it's raining limbs, bro.
Yeah.
So to see
Yes.
that they were also willing to stick to that aspect of the show, um, was awesome. It is a little cartoony, but in the game, it's also a little cartoony. You know,
Yeah.
to
Well, the
sort of
characters
take away
almost
from
act like some of their reactions are very almost like cartoon like, right?
yeah,
In the
yeah.
way that they react to some of the carnage, and it throws you off a little bit, but it's just that's Fallout. That you know, that's the wasteland. You know, as far as this adaptation goes, obviously they set up a second season. You know, not to spoil too much, although maybe we'll get into some of that and kind of put a notice up, just to let people know, anyone who doesn't want to get spoiled by it. But
Oh yeah, yeah.
you
I
know,
want to. After this, we'll end the video, and then we'll do a short thing for people that want to stay and keep watching. I want to know your favorite part, your favorite scene in the whole show. Thank you guys so much for joining us this far, and there's still a bit at the end. But thank you for watching our review. I hope you're coming here from having watched the show, and maybe you want to give us some of your ideas, or if, I'm not gonna say put your favorite scene down at the bottom, but if you want to put your favorite episode, and let us know. But
and I
again,
would definitely recommend this. I definitely recommend this, even if you're not a fan of the game.
yeah,
And you're not really. I just think it's the good show right now.
it's
And
not
I think
even.
I think it's one of the most popular ones, if not the most popular.
You don't even have to
You
be a
know,
fan of video games.
no. It's
It's
just
an
it's just
awesome
a fun
story.
show. It's a fun story. It's an interesting story, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone, really. You know, whether you're a casual fan of TV shows, whether you're a diehard. If you're a diehard, definitely. If you're a casual, you know, for sure, watch it.
All right. So for those of you leaving us, peace. All right. So those of you who stayed for the spoilers, or if you've already watched the show, I don't know. What was your favorite scene?
I mean, I had to. I think I like, honestly. I kind of I the beginning of the first episode, kind
The
of
first
like
15?
the whole break in and all the violence that occurs
Oh,
throughout
that
throughout that.
the first scene of the vault. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, where it just kind of sets the tone for it. I just love that as a tone setter, and you know, the violence that occurs throughout all that. And one thing I didn't bring up too is, you know, I should, forgive me for not knowing this actor's name. The guy who played the Brotherhood actor Maximus, dude, that guy. I have a feeling
Oh,
he's gonna be
Aaron
he's gonna be doing some things.
Aaron Moten. Oh, dude. All right. This is
Killed
my
it.
favorite
I thought he
scene.
was great.
This is my favorite scene when he's fucking after fucking what was his name? Titus?
Yeah,
Who's
his night.
yeah. So when he, and I won't tell you who Titus is, but when Titus dies, or where Titus gets attacked by the rad bear, right?
Mm.
And he he starts berating fucking Maximus. He goes, "They're gonna fucking kill you for letting him do this to me," and Maximus is just fucking sitting there with all the fucking hate and anger fucking from his seething life up to this point, and he goes, and
Right.
he fucking he just goes, "Dude, you're not a fucking." You're not a fucking brother, dude. You shouldn't fucking deserve to wear that. I'm just gonna fucking let you
Yeah,
die.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
it shoots to what is it? Is it the last episode or the second and last one? I think it's the last one. Where he gets captured by the Brotherhood. Maximus gets captured by the Brotherhood, and he goes, where is Titus? Like, where is Titus really? And he goes, he died. And he goes, how did he die? And he goes, he died running from the fucking bear, bro. And I was like, oh, this dude, fuck, dude, this dude's got some balls, man, to fucking throw him under. That was my favorite.
That's the other thing. I thought they did really good with the effects. Like I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know how much of that exosuit looks super.
It's a
some
full
of it was
suit.
like practical.
No, it's
I
a
know some
full
of it was
suit.
but like when he's walking around and stuff like that, I'm like, how would they pull that off? It's got to be. That's gotta be it,
You've seen when we go to like the conventions and stuff. Have you seen people in those big suits? They're
Yeah,
made out of
yeah.
like styrofoam,
Yeah.
so they're
I mean,
really easy to move in.
I would love to see. I would love to see like videos of how they
I-
pulled off some. Of
I
those
think
scenes
there's a
and how much
behind-
of it is
There's a behind the
CGI
scenes
and all that.
There's a
Yeah,
behind the
that's-
scenes.
That's the one thing that sucks about shows is that you don't get like this. Some of them do. Some of them do come out on like Blu-ray or 4K, but especially nowadays, they're trying to. These companies are trying to get rid of that more and more. But for some of us nerds that just kind of are into that, I want to see how it was made, and that I just couldn't help but notice that when, especially with a lot of the scenes with the Brotherhood and the knight armor and all that, and you have just also to highlight Walton Coggins as the Ghoul, man. Dude, that guy. He was a great pick. He was a great pick for that character. You see him in like a lot of those, like Eastbound and Down, and was he in Eastbound and Down? I know he was.
I don't remember
the Righteous Gemstones. Like he comes out in a lot of those shows, but then he also comes out in like Quentin Tarantino, a lot of Quentin Tarantino films.
That's where I know him from, really.
Yeah. He's kind of like that guy who, it's almost like he's underrated in a lot of ways because he comes out in a lot of stuff. He's always great, and perfectly casted to the type of actor that he is. But I thought he did great in this part. Yeah, all the actors, man, all the actors were killer. All the cameos were fun. For me, the best part is the violence.
The violence, it's on point.
I like the way they executed it.
Yeah.
But
and it's not gratuitous. Yeah. It's not like violence for the sake of violence. It's like
it looks good though.
Yeah, they're put into these situations where it's like violence has to happen, and it's just because of where we're at. It doesn't mean that this is what we want.
But for some people like myself, are just aficionados of special effects and just being totally like interested in how people pull off some of these things. This is one of those shows that doesn't let you down, definitely. So that to me was one of the highlights of the show. But I mean, you got anything? You got anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you guys for joining us.
Man.
Peace.
Everybody take care.